Welcome to the Guitar Department. I'm your host, Joe Alton. Today, on this episode, we have got Brian Schwager from the Buckmiller Schwager Band. Be sure to stay tuned for our interview, and we're going to jam out. It's going to be a really cool episode. First, though, I want to talk about this guitar. This is a Schecter Diamond Series Solo 2 Custom. And on its surface, it just looks like a standard Les Paul copy. But the truth is, this thing, not only is it beautiful and has a really cool looking back that you just wouldn't expect, it's also got our independent pickup controllers here. So we've got volume for both bridge and neck pickup, and we've got a coil split. So we can switch it to single coils or humbuckers. We've got our standard 3-way toggle switch. We have got locking tuners, and I don't know how well you can see this, but on the back, this is all very glossy. I'm going to try to get some of that camera sheen on here. It's all very glossy finish, except for right about here, all the way up the neck to here. Every place where your thumb travels is actually a matte finish, so that it feels a little bit different. This is a really cool guitar. I managed to yank it from the Riemann Music walls, and we're going to be playing it all day today. Stay tuned. It's going to be a really cool show. And we're back, and I'm sitting here with Brian Schwager. Brian, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We have a lot to talk about. There's Buckmiller Schwager. There is it Robert Deitch?
Robert Deitch.
Robert Deitch. Excuse me, I had not seen that or not heard that name out loud. Brian Heron, Vultures, Pianopalooza. You're all over the place.
We're busy.
I want to start with that guitar.
Absolutely, yeah. This is kind of a weird one. It's I got it back in maybe 2013 or so. It's a factory Pelham Blue Gibson R6 Les Paul. Okay. So it's like 1956 spec.
What year is it actually?
This is actually like a 2011 or 12 or so. Okay. It's a new guitar.
Sure. Okay.
But spec'd after 1956 and factory Pelham Blue, which they didn't really do.
Right.
So kind of a weird thing, but it's become my #1 guitar, my all-time favorite. It's like my child.
Yeah, it's great. It's got those P90s in it too. The classic look from back in the gold top era.
Yeah.
Would you give us a lick on it real quick?
Absolutely.
Woo. All right. That thing sounds fantastic.
So it works. It does the thing.
So you've been playing with Buckmiller Schwager combo.
Yes.
Buckmiller Schwager Band.
Yep.
You guys perform as a duo.
We do.
But you also have a full band.
Correct.
So tell me about the rest of the band.
So we actually, Tom and I started the band back in 2019 as Buckmiller Schwager. We had kind of played in other groups and met each other through that, and we started this band. We actually started out as a duo and started playing duo gigs and just doing that. And we decided we were going to enter the Iowa Blues Challenge, and we kind of put a band together and did that. So we have.
You guys won, if I'm not mistaken.
We did win in 2021 as a duo.
Okay.
And with that, we were able to go down to Memphis and compete in the International Blues Challenge, where we landed ourselves in the semifinals down there, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's big.
Great experience to go play on Beale Street, and just all the history, and so much fun.
And that sort of brings us not to change topics here, but you guys have a documentary out.
We do, and actually the documentary kind of came from the Memphis trip.
Yeah,
our bass player, Eric Smith, he invited himself along on the trip, and he just said, hey, I'm going to film you guys, I'm going to put this thing together, and we ended up putting this whole documentary together, and it was actually accepted into 9 different film festivals kind of throughout the Midwest and everything. So it's been a really fun project to be involved in.
Where can people find that?
Actually, it's not out to the public yet.
Okay.
It was run on the film festival circuit, and it's kind of winding down with that, and then we're going to do a release of it. But if you message me on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, I can find you a link if you want to see it. So
cool.
Yeah.
We'll be watching for that. And would that be ultimately available on the Buckmiller Schwager site?
It'll be on the website. It'll eventually be on YouTube and basically anywhere you want to try to catch it.
Do you have a site for Buckmiller Schwager, and do you have a site for yourself?
I have my personal website is brianschwager.com.
brianschwager.com.
You can find all the band stuff at buckmillerschwager.com. Good luck with spelling.
Yeah. How'd you guys come up with the name, by the way?
Actually, it's just both of our last names.
Yeah, I was kidding. I really wanted to ask you that question.
Well, there's a funny story.
That was just for me. So like you said, you won the Iowa Blues Challenge in 2021. Is that to say you entered it in 2019 also?
We actually, we were in it, I think 3 times prior to winning it, and you know, when we first started, we landed ourselves in dead last.
Oh no.
You know, so it's kind of a learning curve, you know, but that's you know, there's a lot to be said about, you know, learning and, you know, understanding that we don't know what we're doing and we're always learning.
Sure.
And, you know, our motto is kind of fail forward.
Yeah.
You know, so we're gonna keep working, and eventually we won it.
That's exactly the motto on this show too. If you've seen any of the early episodes, you do have some other projects as we were talking about. This Pianopalooza, Vultures, Brian Heron. How did all that come together? Robert, Brian.
You know, we just playing gigs around town. You meet people and you network, and you know the phone rings and you start doing these projects. And like I've been working with Brian Heron for a handful of years now. We'll do a duo gig together, and he also has a full band that'll play a couple times a year. Kind of same story with Robert. Like, you know, he only plays a couple times a year, but when we do, it's always amazing.
Yeah.
Pianopalooza, the Dueling Pianos band, I'll occasionally fill in with those guys and do those gigs. And
so are you doing that as a pianist?
I'm doing that as a guitarist in the full band.
Okay, gotcha.
And the Vultures thing was kind of a one-off we did. We did a John Mayer tribute band. A bunch of friends got together that are all huge John Mayer fans, and we put together a set worth of music and went out and played a handful of shows. And
that's a tough shoe to fill too.
It is.
To be playing John Mayer tunes.
It is.
He doesn't always show off on his recordings, but you see him live, and that dude's a beast.
He's a master.
Yeah, he's
master of the craft.
One of the best out there for sure right now. So like I said, we've got Buck Miller Schwager and all your other projects. And you're just busy. You guys are playing out a lot this time of year.
We actually, Buck Miller Schwager, we have a new album coming out. It's a live album we recorded at XBK. Excellent. It's going to drop September 1st. So.
Awesome. Was it one of the Monday Night Lives?
It was actually, it was for Iowa Public Radio. It was their Iowa IPR Studio One with Tony, actually.
Yeah, the All Access.
Yep, and you just had Tony on the show.
I did,
not too long
and
ago,
I actually watched that set on YouTube.
Awesome.
In preparation for this interview.
Cool, very cool.
Yeah, Tony's a great dude.
Yeah,
really
they're all great. The whole
player.
crew over there, everybody.
And they're doing great work. Tony, keep it up.
Yep.
Everybody at Studio One, just keep going. Quick shout out to Studio One. I want to do a quick rig rundown.
Yeah,
we were talking about your pedal board. You were saying you're a bit pedal board obsessive here.
I am. I don't know if you can see this, but it's I have to have a clean and organized pedal board. But you just want to go through signal flow?
Yeah, let's walk it through one from.
So from the guitar, it goes straight into this Mythos Golden Fleece, which is a fuzz. It's like a one knob fuzz. It's just pretty gnarly sounding. You know,
Sweet.
I'll kick that on for fun, obnoxious noise. Into that, we hit the tuner, which is essential for, you know, guitar players. It's everybody's favorite pedal.
If you don't have a tuner, your band doesn't like you. Your band knows you need one.
We go into the King Tone Blues Power, which is an overdrive pedal, kind of that glassy, dumbly, you know, crunchy, just goodness.
Is that a three-way toggle?
It is a three-way toggle. You've got an edge setting, a warm setting, and a glass setting. So they're like just varying levels of gain.
Yeah.
And it's just become a favorite pedal of mine. Then we hit the Greer Amps Lightspeed, which is a lower gain overdrive. That's kind of my always-on pedal. Next to that is a old school Boss GE7 equalizer, but this one's been modded by XTS out of Nashville. And basically what that does, they quiet them down, and then they pinpoint all these to just mid-frequency.
I was going to say,
so you can just dial mids.
I was going to say, it's set up flat right now.
I use it live. It's great in the studio. You can really do a lot of tone shaping with it, but like for live, I'll just kick it on as a boost.
Okay.
You know, it's pretty flat, and I'll just use it to bump my whatever tone I've already got going.
Sure. And then we head up to the upper deck here.
We head up to the delay up here. This is the Andy Timmons Halo made by Keeley.
Yeah.
I love it because you can save presets in it. And like I just have 2 generic saved presets, a longer delay that I use for leads a lot, and then I have a slapback, you know, for just filling space, rockabilly, whatever kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a super versatile pedal. You can do anything on it. From there we hit the Strymon Lex, which is a like a Leslie emulator.
Yeah. So that rotary sort of sound.
Rotary speaker, yep. And there's a specific Buckmiller Schwager song called Thrill of the Thrill that you can hear that on. It's become a favorite pedal of mine. The slow speed sounds really good. The fast speed sounds really good. It's just a really accurate, you know, as close as you can get to the real thing in pedal form.
Right. Those old school Leslies are hard.
Yeah,
to
but
carry.
nobody wants to move them.
Yeah, exactly. And then they got to wind up. You got to maintain them.
Absolutely. And then lastly, we hit the Flint from Strymon. It's a reverb and tremolo pedal that I've just grown to love. I've got them on multiple pedal boards. If you're ever in like a backline situation where your amp doesn't have reverb or anything like that, like this is a great pedal just to all-purpose, gets the job done. Great sounding tremolo, great sounding reverb. It does it all.
Right on. Well, that's awesome. You had said that you and Tom Buckmiller of the Buckmiller Schwager Band, you guys started it in 2019. How'd you guys meet in the first place?
We actually met through a mutual friend. Tom was in another band, and their keyboard player is good friends with my parents.
Okay.
Actually, and I just happened to stop by their house that they were practicing at one day with my dad, and Tom was there, and we were introduced, and Tom handed me his guitar and said, "Hey, jam on this," and the rest is history, as they say.
Hit it off.
So yeah, we hit it off from there and started hanging out and playing a little bit.
And you guys are strictly a blues band, like a purist type of blues
we
band.
play, you know, it's interesting with Tom and I, because he's kind of like the old school. I'm into the newer stuff, you know, granted I love the old stuff too, but
You say there is a little bit of an age discrepancy between the two of you.
There is, and it's not even really a discrepancy, I would say. It's just we mesh really well, and you know, he's, like I said, he's into the older stuff. I'm into the, you know, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Gary Clark Jr., that kind of stuff. And we bring both of those flavors to the table, and it just works for some reason, you know.
That's
cool
awesome.
thing.
So you guys do a lot of songwriting together?
We do a lot. Tom does the bulk of the songwriting, like lyrically speaking. He'll have an idea and he'll write lyrics, and then he'll bring it to the table with the band or me or whatever, and we'll kind of build the songs that way.
Awesome.
You know.
That's really cool. You have a second guitar here, too.
I do.
Can we talk about that one real
Absolutely.
quick?
So this one is fun. Pardon my awkwardness. You can't hurt this thing. This actually used to belong to a good friend of mine. His name's Shane Johnson. Local players probably know him. This is an Eric Johnson Strat, an older one. It's just got some mojo to it, you know. It's all beat up. It's body checked and all the fun
it's all
stuff.
cracked up a little bit in the paint finish.
But this is a great guitar, you know. I'm usually a Les Paul guy, but occasionally I'll break out a Strat or a Tele or something else just for fun to keep it interesting. And, you know, this is it.
That's pretty cool.
This is the go-to.
Well, I think we're going to hear both of them here in a little
Sounds
bit.
good.
Would you stick around and jam out with me for a little bit?
Absolutely. I'd
All
love
right.
to.
Brian Schwager, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Brian Schwager, everybody. we're back, and it's time for us to enter the tone zone. And today, we've got something very cool. This is, so Electro Harmonics makes like 200 distortion and overdrive pedals. It's easy to overlook several of their products. And today, we have the EHX Operation Overlord Nano. It's Nano because the original version of this pedal is like a double wide with stereo outs, by the way. That was one of the appeals of the Operation Overload, was to have the stereo outs. Granted, you don't usually use that. Most people don't want to carry a stereo rig into a bar anymore, but man, this pedal is just really cool. And rather than tell you everything that I love about it, I just have Brian plugged into it. And so we're going to click it off real quick. He's from his Gibson straight into my AC-15. Go ahead and give us a little incubus there, and then I'm going to go ahead and click it on. So I'm finding this three-way toggle switch to be really cool. We've got, it's for the input level, so we've got it at low right now, meaning that your input signal is not, it's cut a little bit. Go ahead and take the boost off too. And then if I flip that to mid, and then to give it a little extra, we've got high. And then we can keep going still with the boost switch. So, there's a lot going on here.
There's a lot of versatility in that pedal.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it, and we've got 3-band EQ, treble, bass, and mid. And when I turned it just to treble there, I turned both the bass and the mid down. We had the gain up all the way, and I had you on the normal input setting, and it almost sounded like a modern heavy compressed distortion.
Yes.
Like a heavy metal type of thing.
I noticed a lot of clarity throughout all those settings too. You can still pick out individual notes.
It did get
which
a little
is rare
bit
in a lot of pedals.
It got a little bit muddy when I turned
did.
up the bass all the way and just sort of jacked the input and the boost. But we've also got this dry blend knob. So. So this would be a great studio pedal.
Absolutely.
It's the type of thing that you could dial in just about any sound you were looking for. It sounds like it's a fantastic breakup pedal. It sounds like it's a pretty good just always on overdrive if that's what you're looking for. And it works as a clean boost. If we turn the gain all the way down, I turn this on to normal. Let's go ahead and try it now. That almost sounds like it's just boosting the natural drive from the amp. That's a heck of a pedal.
It's a good one.
I didn't expect it. It's sort of all cramped in place, but there's a lot going on there. The Operation Overlord Nano from EHX, our pedal of the week. Well, that's it for the guitar department. Thank you for tuning in. I've been your host, Joe Alton, and I want to thank Brian Schwager for being here. Brian, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
How can the people follow you? What websites do you have?
Follow me personally on Instagram at Brian Schwager. Follow my band at Buckmiller Schwager Band or at our website, buckmillerschwager.com.
All right, be sure to look out for that, and be sure to look out for the documentary To Memphis and Back coming out sometime soon. It should be a good watch.
Should be.
I also want to thank Riemann Music for offering up our awesome guitar this week, the Schecter Diamond Series, and the pedal for the pedal of the week that we had in the Tone Zone. I want to thank our camera operator Matthew and Pat and Jackson up in the booth. And be sure to follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Guitar Department and our newly formed Instagram page at Guitar_Department. And with that, you ready to play us out?
I am.
All right.